Have you ever been excited about something, you're ready to go, all in, and then you got into the middle of it and thought, what have I gotten myself into? I'm way in over my head. That's some of you every time you try and build IKEA furniture. All kidding aside, that's where I found myself many times after taking a step of courage into something new and unknown, into God's calling on my life. I've been in situations where I was convinced of the direction, but taking the initial step turned out to be the easy part. I found that ministry is harder than I thought it would be, that leadership is lonelier than I had expected it to be, and pastoring people is a lot messier than I wanted it to be. If you ever felt that, I totally get it. My first job at a seminary was to start and lead a college ministry at a church in the Atlanta area. I was nervous, but excited. I had all these plans and dreams. I was ready to go. Well, to make a long story short, my first 2 years, attendance didn't grow. No, it slowly started to shrink. I started questioning everything and even began to wonder if I was cut out for ministry. You ever been there? Maybe you're there right now, facing adversity, hit a roadblock, and maybe even failed and you're starting to question everything. Well, in the New Testament, we learn of a young leader named Timothy that the Apostle Paul mentored. Eventually, Paul made Timothy the pastor of the church they planted in Ephesus. And what we know is that Timothy struggled. He was timid, insecure about his young age, and lacked confidence in how God had gifted him. He was ready to throw in the towel, quit, and just get back on the road with Paul. But in 2 Timothy, Paul writes to encourage him, and he says this, "I am reminded of your sincere faith. For this reason, I remind you to fan into flame the gift of God, which is in you." In other words, Timothy, rather than give up, use the gifts that God has uniquely given you. I just wonder how many of us today need to be reminded to keep going, to stoke the fire that God put in you. Don't let it go out. Just because you're facing adversity doesn't mean your courage was in vain. It just means God's not done. Don't let adversity feed your insecurity or doubt, because God doesn't make mistakes. He knows you and He knows your situation, and God Himself has uniquely gifted you and wired you. So what if we trusted the giver of our gifts, God Himself, by continuing on even in the face of adversity to stay where He has called us to stay, to be who He has called us to be, and to do what He has called us to do. God is working even when we don't feel it or see it. And the best and most courageous thing we can do is trust Him in the process that He has under His sovereign